My mother-in-law slid a sealed DNA report across the dinner table with a smile. That said she'd already won. She looked at my husband and said, "Open it. It's time you learn the truth about your wife." She had secretly tested our 3-year-old daughter, convinced she was about to expose me as a cheater. But less than 60 seconds later, the room fell silent because that same report uncovered a secret she'd buried for more than 30 years. Until that Sunday, I had convinced myself that keeping the peace was worth swallowing every insult. My husband, Mark, was kind, dependable, and completely devoted to our little family. But his mother, Evelyn, had never accepted me. In her eyes, I was the outsider who had stolen her son. And every visit came with another carefully disguised jab about loyalty, honesty, or whether I was truly good enough for him. I ignored it because arguing only gave her exactly what she wanted. Then, one afternoon, she offered to take our 3-year-old daughter out for ice cream. It sounded harmless, but when she brought Lily home, something felt different. She barely said goodbye. Instead, she looked at me with a strange confidence, almost as if she'd already won a fight I didn't even know we were having. A few days later, Evelyn insisted the whole family gather for Sunday dinner. The atmosphere felt unusually tense, and she kept steering the conversation toward trust, family honor, and how every father deserved to know the truth about the child he was raising. Then she placed a sealed envelope in front of Mark with a satisfied smile. Calmly, she admitted she had secretly collected Lily's DNA during their outing and paid for a private test because she believed I had been unfaithful. She expected my husband to expose me in front of everyone. Fighting back wouldn't change what she'd done, so all I could do was watch as Mark opened the envelope, while Evelyn waited for my entire world to fall apart. Mark unfolded the report while Evelyn leaned back in her chair, wearing the kind of smile that only comes from believing victory is guaranteed. She watched every movement, waiting for anger to replace confusion. I could barely breathe, convinced that one piece of paper was about to undo everything we had built together. But instead of turning toward me, Mark kept reading. His expression shifted from disbelief to intense concentration, as though he'd stumbled across something that didn't make sense. Evelyn mistook his silence for acceptance and began reminding everyone that she had only acted to protect her son. The longer she spoke, the more certain she became that she had exposed the truth. She never noticed that Mark wasn't looking at me anymore. His eyes were locked on the second page of the report, searching through details she clearly hadn't bothered to read herself. Finally, Mark lowered the report and broke the silence. He calmly confirmed that the DNA test proved exactly what it was supposed to prove. Lily was his biological daughter. Evelyn's smile disappeared for only a moment before she insisted the laboratory had made a mistake. Mark quietly pointed to the genetic marker analysis attached to the report. Those additional findings revealed something neither of us had expected. While the test confirmed his connection to Lily, it also showed a contradiction that couldn't be ignored. According to the documented genetic profile, the family history Evelyn had defended for decades simply didn't add up. In that instant, the accusation against me stopped mattering, because the evidence had turned in an entirely different direction. Evelyn grabbed the report, insisting the lab had mixed up the samples, but Mark didn't argue. Instead, he calmly suggested they do exactly what she wanted from the beginning and follow the evidence wherever it led. He pointed to the genetic marker analysis and asked one simple question. If Lily carried his DNA, why did the report show no biological connection to the family line Evelyn had always claimed as her own? The room fell silent. For the first time that evening, Evelyn had no accusation left to make. Mark quietly told her they could arrange another test if she still doubted the results, but this time it would compare their DNA directly. Faced with the possibility of proving the report right a second time, her confidence collapsed. Tears replaced the triumphant smile she had worn all evening as she admitted the truth she had hidden for more than 30 years. She confessed that Mark's late father was never his biological parent and that an affair she had buried for decades had finally been exposed. The DNA test she designed to destroy my marriage had instead uncovered the one secret capable of destroying her own. The silence that followed was louder than any argument. Evelyn reached for Mark, pleading for forgiveness, but he quietly stepped back and made his decision. He told her she had spent years questioning my honesty, while hiding a far greater deception herself. From that moment on, she would no longer have a place in our home or in our daughter's life. As the truth spread through the family, the respect she had spent decades building disappeared almost overnight. The trap she had carefully planned for someone else had become the reason she lost everything that mattered most. 6 months later, our home was finally peaceful again. We learned that trust isn't protected by suspicion. It's protected by honesty. And sometimes, the people most determined to expose someone else's secrets are the ones working hardest to hide their own. If you think this story had an unbelievable ending, wait until you hear the next family betrayal where one lie changed everything.